Hello, so today we're going to be doing a VOD review. So in this game, I'm going to be playing Mages, or I'm going to play Mage Reroll. So when you're playing around Mages, there's basically two units that you usually play around in terms of carrying. It's typically Vigor and Nami. Nami's more like a secondary carry. She does a lot of utility, right? She does really good on casting and spreading a lot of damage on a wide variety of units. We'll see some Nami action a little bit later in the video. Because she's not my primary carry. The main, if you're thinking about mages as a trait and you're going towards like a reroll angle, typically what you're rerolling are Vex and Vigor. So it's pretty easy to remember. They're both the ones that start with a V, right? Vex being a frontline unit in this set and one of the best frontline units, and Vigor being a backline unit that can scale really well. So we'll go over those as we get there. So to start, like AFK is back. I'm kind of down to just like use AFK. So AFK just gives you a lot of gold. It puts you up a lot of resources. It's really good if you're just going to angle in towards some sort of reroll. Here I'm trying to position my units. So you can position during the phase that you're like selecting the augment. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm trying to prepare myself to put in some quality units, right? Some of the better units. I can't sell. I'm always holding on to a lot of 3-costs. Would have been nice to make like extra econ. But I'm basically trying to play towards like, okay, right, I can put that item on because it's just the fairy crown and then AFK. So what I did is I structured my board. I was thinking a lot about it. The next in will be the one in the first slot. Here I'm just demonstrating with AFK. You can't sell any of the units. I was playing this game live, I'm pretty sure. So I was trying to discuss and figure it out. But basically, I have 2 fairy. So I have this Katarina that I ended up holding on to, so I might as well play around the Katarina. Gave her a fairy emblem, which can kill a lot of units, save me a lot of HP. Nico's a really strong frontline unit. And then as I naturally level to level 4 via the 2 EXP you get every single round, my next in will be the Elise, and the Elise will give Shapeshifter to synergize with my Nico. So that's why I was arranging my bench, and I was spending a lot of time thinking about it. I was trying to figure out, hey, what's my strongest board this turn, and what's my strongest board a couple turns from now. That's basically what I was trying to think. Ideally, I could have sold a little bit, made some econ, because like I'm holding on to like 3 different 3-costs. I could have been up another 10 gold and then played towards something else. But here I'm basically just scouting. I'm thinking to myself, maybe I can play like Katarina reroll off of this Katarina. If I get some better items, I can play something along these lines, obviously. But of course, I think I end up playing mages a bit later. I think it's because just by nature of PBE, I found something that I wanted to play a little bit. I want to try out more so than what I've already played, because I think I played Katarina reroll, or I played Katarina on other boards as well, so I had a decent idea of how she operates as a unit. For those of you, sorry, I'm a bit tired today and I'm doing the video or the VOD review a little bit late, but make sure to like and subscribe if you like set 12 PBE. This is a set 12 PBE game, so obviously take some of the relative board strengths and some of the things that I say with a grain of salt, because they can change wildly when the set releases and there starts to be some more balancing happening. But we're getting very close to the set releasing, so a lot of the units that are strong are probably going to remain relatively in a good spot for when the set actually releases. But of course, when I'm talking this game and I'm going through mages, make sure to understand that the mages might be a little bit weaker in set release. In general, I'm not really talking about mages just yet because there's a lot to talk about with the other stuff, right? Sorry, I'm just resetting my inking, so my inking shows up now. There we go, it's all working. Wonderful. When you're thinking about mages, so like I said, it's usually Vex and Vigor. Having a Vigor early is really important, and if you're playing towards Vigor, you usually want to buy Charms, right? We'll talk about it after, but Charms are the main mechanic of this set, and Vigor scales with how many Charms you buy, so it's really important to scale towards those. Here, I think I'm playing, I don't know why I switch off not playing Katarina. I think somebody else either plays Katarina or I get dropped like a Mage emblem or something that I wanted to try it. But right now, because I'm AFK, I'm just kind of chilling and maxing out my econ. It just works a little bit. It's a little bit unfortunate because I held on to so many, like I had a really good like econ opener, and I would have had like a lot of extra gold if I used all of the units to actually make like the higher econ thresholds. And I'm holding on to a lot of expensive units, but it's okay. It is what it is. There's a Katarina here. I can maybe just grab it and have like a Katarina pair. I don't know what I end up grabbing. Do I just grab Vex? I just grab Vex? Why am I committed Mage already? I wonder. Is somebody else Katarina? Oh, I think that guy was holding. Yeah, there's too many people holding Katarinas. Yeah, I remember vaguely this game. So this guy already has a Katarina 2 with a fairy opener, and then there's another guy that also has a Katarina on his board. So I think I just kind of commit to, oh, well, I see a Vex there. I might as well like play towards mages if I have that option, because I want to try it out. More so that it's just like the idea that like I can probably commit to any reroll. So this is AFK, just gave me a bunch of gold. As you can see, it would have been really broken, or it would have been not broken, but it would have been really good if I didn't hold on to so many 3 costs. But obviously I didn't know going into the silver augment what I was gonna pick. But that would have been a little bit better, because then I could have what's it called? I could have chosen my I could have chosen to sell more of these 3 cost units, make more interest. I wouldn't make like 50 gold. I would be absolutely like loaded with money after this couple rounds, but it's okay. AFK is pretty good, like especially if you don't have like a good opener, or you don't feel like you have like a really strong direction. Even if you do have a really strong opener, a strong direction, it just helps. It gives you so much gold, and gold early is so important. I'm basically gonna be making 50 here, and I didn't even have to like worry about a lot of the other stuff. Plus the loss streak, I'm gonna be like in an insanely good spot after Krugs. I'm gonna be insanely rich. But anyways, I grab Vex. You know, maybe I can play Chrono, maybe I can play mages. That's like the main idea, but I'm probably gonna commit towards mages at one point. I should start if you know that you're committing mages. So here's a Vigor. I'll probably buy Vigor. It'd be crazy if I didn't. But once you know that you're playing towards mages, you really have to oh man, honestly, this shop is so crazy. If I don't commit mages here, I know I commit later, but I probably commit off this turn alone, right? And there's literally a Galio. Hopefully I don't miss the Galio. Sometimes I miss the units because I'm kind of bad at buying shit. I might buy them after the round. Yeah. Yeah, you can see I noticed it after. I should have just put it in. But I think it's fine because I'm trying to 5 loss anyways. So I'm just going to play towards mages. Here I'm just making the board. But basically you just play Vigor, Vex, and then you basically play like you play Vigor, Vex. You usually play Galio as well, just because he's another frontline unit. You play Galio, Nami, 1 or 2 other units, like another mage and another frontline unit usually, and you're good to go, right? You know, I'm struggling to like figure out exactly what kind of board I'm gonna make, but yeah, it's usually these 4, and then you play a little bit around them. I already have a Vex too, which is kind of insane. And Vex, so in terms of these units, Vigor and Vex, as well as Mage as a trait, is very, very strong. Vigor scales really well into late game. You just have to worry about scaling him early, right? You just have to buy a charm every single round. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but obviously this is like PBE. I think this VOD's also a little bit older than some of my other ones. This isn't like from last week. As you can see, I still was, this was before I even did the giveaway, which was like a week ago. So this was earlier in the PBE that I was still trying to learn stuff. So as you can see, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what to play. And then you basically play around 5 mages until you reroll. And then after you level up to play the extra 2 mages if you can play towards 7 mage. That's the basic way you play the board. It's fairly easy. I should be buying these charms, all of them. Yeah, because we want to make Vigor scale up, right? The more Vigor scales, the better you'll do. Right? Put in this, put in this. Yeah, I'm trying to fit in like a 5th mage if I can. You have access to a lot of the cheaper mages really early on. So here I didn't really like pay attention to holding or buying a Soraka. So it'd be really nice if I did do that. Vex, there's a lot of options with Vex that you can play. Usually you just want to make her like full tank. You want to make like Dragon Claw, Bramble Vest +1, like Dragon Claw, Bramble Vest Steadfast, or something like that, right? But I think the best item for her is Forbidden Idol, right? She has the same kind of scaling that Tom Kench did in set 11 if you played Tom Kench. So something to look out for is that I think that if you get like Artifact and you play towards Forbidden Idol, you just play towards mages and you can play it on Vex, and it's insanely strong. It's very, 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 very strong. One time in PBE, somebody had Forbidden Idol Vex, and they didn't lose a single round. It was ridiculous. High Voltage is pretty good. I'm kind of down for it. It basically gives me Shred, as well as makes the Onyx Spark spread out a lot longer, or a longer distance. So it kind of helps fix up a little bit of my spot in terms of like my items and my units. So I definitely think that's a good. I'm not sure how good this augment is because there's not stats. I take it a lot, and I find that it's often very good. But I think that's I'm not entirely sure, right? Because obviously, like, it increases the range and it makes the Ionic Spark do more damage, but it doesn't like necessarily equate to like the unit themselves getting stats and doing more damage, right? Because the Ionic Spark scaling isn't like based off the unit; it's more so based on like when an opponent casts, they take damage. So I feel like sometimes it might not be the most useful item or augment combo to have. But yeah. So typically I'm just highlighting all of these. Basically you'll level to 7. You'll play 5 of these, so you'll probably play something like, I know I'm putting in Jax here. You'll play 5 of these units, right? It's usually Nami. A lot of times you just play Soraka because she heals adjacent. I think it's a little bit better than playing Seraphine. So you'll play Soraka, and then you'll play usually Mordekaiser, right? So your final board will be like 5 Mage, and then Mordekaiser, and one other unit. I forget. You can play Mordekaiser, and then you can play like a random Chrono, right? This is on level 7, right? And then level 9 you play level 9 you play 7 Mage, right? This is your game plan. Obviously it's PBE, so I'm not going to bring in the team builder and the board and the item builder and all of that stuff. Typically Viger you want blue buff, Vex you want pure tank items, and these are the two main ones that you're trying to star up. And then you also get Mordekaiser because he's also a 3 cost. You can also take what's his name, Galio, because he's also a frontline unit, and you basically just play around those units. It's a fairly easy comp to play. I think it got nerfed a little bit, but it's not unplayable yet. I think now you just have a better option of playing towards like higher level instead of strictly reroll. But Vex is one of the best tanks in the game in my opinion. She's very, very, very strong. I think with good items, she's basically unkillable in a lot of situations. And Viger pumps out a lot of damage. He also has a little bit of AoE when he does his damage, and he also scales with the charms. So I'll repeat it again just in case, like, you know, maybe you skip around in the video. But Viger gains AP for every charm that you buy. So when you're playing towards Viger, the thing that synergizes really well is not only you're going Viger Vex, basically every round you should reroll. Right? Every round you should roll. You only have to roll twice to get a charm. So every round you should roll, try and collect some of the units to upgrade, and at the same time as rolling, you buy a charm every single round, right? And if you buy a charm every single round, then your Viger is gonna scale up, right? And that's really important. So you see here, I should roll. I'm rolling a little bit. I'm still level 6, right? It's not level 7, and I should be buying a charm every single round, right? That's like the main cadence that you do, and it works really well when you reroll, right? If you're playing Viger and you're not rerolling Viger to get a 3-star, then you kind of lose a lot of the effect of like getting a charm every round because you don't want to waste your econ. You want to save it to level up and buy those expensive units, but at the same time, buying the charms basically gives this guy extra AP. So if you start the AP scaling early, your Viger will be like a demon towards the late game, right? And that's what helps you to have that competitive edge, right? When rerolls, the main problem with rerolls usually is that, like, if they're balanced, right? If they're balanced, typically you're spending a lot of your gold on a lower cost unit, and by you spending all this gold earlier on, you have less gold to push levels and cap out your board and reach the same high quality units that a lot of other boards get, right? That's the main thing, right? A lot of rerolls, on average, you're gonna end the game at a lower level, and you're trying to compensate by having these 3-star variation of these units that are gonna be strong enough, right? That's when reroll is balanced, right? Obviously, if it's unbalanced, then you're stable with like lower cost units, and you just always win the game, and it's horrible, right? So the compensation, the reason that this board is really strong is because while you're stuck on these lower levels and you're rerolling every single turn, I don't buy the polymorph because polymorph can grief hit the game really easily. But we're trying to buy charms every single turn. A Nami, which is great, so I can play towards 5 Mage very soon. I can even put in 5 Mage now. It kind of weakens my front line a little bit. Yep, there we go, 5 Mage. And then I can level for like a portal or something else. Anyways, I digress. Basically, when you're playing Viger, because he scales his AP, the longer the game goes on, even if you're just rerolling, if you're buying charms every single turn, eventually Viger is going to get so much AP that he's going to one-shot units. He's going to be like an absolute demon, right? Having that level of strength on Vigor helps this reroll comp cap out really high and scale really well into a lot of games, right? And that's why I really like this comp, right? I love it when there's rerolls that scale infinitely, such that if you have a good spot for them, right? If you start the game with an early Vigor, you feel very safe and very secured, like, yes, this is a good idea to go down this route because it'll probably end up being a top 4 because I have a good spot for it. As opposed to some other rerolls where you kind of like try and push yourself into it and then you don't stabilize really hard and then things go wrong and then everything's just bad, right? An example of like how this kind of feels as a trait, right? Having the Vigor, I don't even think you have to have the Vigor. It's not like when you buy them, it's charms you buy throughout the rounds. I think you can buy the charms before even getting the Vigor if you're committed towards Mage. But the idea is it's similar to like Dryad, right? Dryads, there's ways to like high roll Dryad comps. There's ways to make it like absolutely like demon like, but a lot of times in set 11, Dryad was really good if you had a Dryad opener. You had good Dryad units, good items to slam on them, and you basically scaled infinitely, and a lot of times you can convert that to a first, even though like even now I think the set ended and Dryad is still meta. If you have it, like, it's not, sorry, Dryad isn't meta, but it's still top 4able really easily if you have those particular units. Here I'm not quite sure if I want to play Mordekaiser, if I want to just keep in a random Chrono unit. I upgraded Mordekaiser too, so I put in Mordekaiser instead. Chrono pretty much only benefits Vex. I think it gives a little bit of AP to the rest of the board, but it's not super necessary. And I'm just sending it, right? The reason I'm sending it so deep is because I just wanted to upgrade to Vigor 2. Right, I was Vigor 1 the whole game. There is somebody playing Honeymancy, so Vigor is contested, which is why you're going to see me having a really hard time hitting Vigor. But because I started the game with the Vex 2, I feel like, yeah, this is an okay route to play down, because I think I'll be like strong and stable. Here I'm trying to think of what items to make. I just make a Sunfire Cape to give me anti-heal, and I'll just hold on to the other components. My Vex items aren't particularly great. Obviously, my Vex is just holding utility items instead of holding like really good tank items, but it is what it is, you know. Here I could probably sell something to make Econ, right? I probably just sell Cassidon and these two. That's 4 gold right here, right? I just sell 1, 2, 3, 4, and I make 50. I think it's a little bit more important because I don't think I necessarily need to play these units. Here I get Mage Crown. So Mage Crown's really great because it makes it a lot easier for me to hit 7 Mage. I think you can also, I think Mage +1 you can also hit 9 Mage, right? Because the mages that are remaining, I have 1, 2. Do you need 2 crowns to hit 9 Mage? I can't remember. I don't have Soraka in. I don't have the other dude in. No, I think you need 2 crowns. I forget. I don't have Nora in. Nora's the other mage. But yeah, I just Mage Crown this guy, and it gave me a spark. So like the Mage Emblem, like it said like gain a Mage Emblem and gain a spark. Spark works out really well here as well because I took the Ionic Spark Augment, right? So I just put on Mordekaiser because in my head I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to go for Mordekaiser 3, I'm going to go for Vex 3, I'm going to go for Vigor 3, right? I'm just going to roll on 7 for much of the game until I hit at least 1 or 2 of these as 3 stars. Once I hit them as 3 stars, then I can push levels for 7 Mage, which is pretty easy to fit in. Now that I have the Mage +1, I just have to level, and I can probably drop one of the shitty frontline units, like one of these portal units that I'm just playing for fun up front, and easily just fit in 7 Mage on level 8, right? So the game plan's there. We're in a decent spot. Everything's kind of going well. And we're just going to play it out. This is the guy that's holding a bunch of Vigors, by the way, which is fine. Because he was playing Honeymancy from the start. The thing is, I don't really understand what his game plan is. Because he leveled to 7 with very little gold. And I feel like he's trying to primary Vigor. See, that's the problem that I had. I didn't know he was going to level to 7. Usually with Honeymancy, you try and 3-star all the other units. And then you cap out around Vigor later. But I don't know why this guy just leveled to 7 and he's rolling for like 1 cost and 2 costs on level 7, even though that's majority of his board. So, you know, that's what I didn't expect necessarily to happen, but it also makes it so it's very hard for me to actually hit the Vigor. Here I'm debating if I put in Portal or Chrono. I think Chrono's a little bit better because I'm relying so much on this Vex for damage. And then I just play like an extra Galio because I have an extra Galio too. I think it's better than just playing this guy, honestly. Right, it's better than just playing Cassidon. I'm holding on to these Cassidon because I'm like, maybe I just hit Cassidon 3 as well because I have a couple of them. I think all the extra units don't really matter. Like I said before, the mages are the most important. If you're down one extra unit, you just play like one extra mage here. If you're playing the reroll line, if you're playing towards like a 3-cost comp, you play like an extra frontline unit, and it's all good. And typically you itemize Vigor, and then you itemize Vex, and then you itemize Nami, right? So Nami, she hasn't been really doing much. I'll try and point it out when I see it next round. But basically, every third cast, she summons like a giant Leviathan, or as they call it. That basically is just like AoEs the whole board, and this thing stuns as well. So not only does she do like a bunch of like a shit ton of damage to the whole board, she'll also stun the whole board. So she's just a very, very strong unit. She doesn't have like the damage output that Vigor has in order to like actually kill units, but she's really great for utility. Like if you give her a Morello, she'll just hit the whole board, she'll do a bunch of damage, and she'll Morello everybody, right? It works out wonderfully. So that's why she's like very good at just being utility focused. I think somebody took the Vigor, or maybe I missed the Vigor, I'm not sure, but it was always take Vigor there. I'm 3 off of what's her name, I'm 3 off of Vex. I just make a Protector's Vow, because Protector's Vow is like an all-arounder, give a bunch of stats and resistances, right? So, you know, we make Protector's Vow. My last item, hopefully, I can make a Vigor item using the Birds drops. And then I can itemize one item on Mordekaiser to give him 3 items, and then I can just go for these. But yeah, we're going to slow roll 50 every turn. I didn't buy a charm this turn, I don't think. There's some rounds I just forget to buy a charm. That's something I'm obviously going to get better at before the set like fully releases. Whenever you're playing Vigor, like I said, you want to roll a couple times each turn, buy a charm every single turn. Oh, I did buy a charm, sorry. But yeah, just always keep in mind that you need to buy a charm every single turn so that Vigor scales up his AP. It's very, very important in this comp, and what makes this comp super competitive in the late game. This guy has Arcana +1. And I don't know how. I remember this guy had on RE3 so early in the game. I didn't point it out earlier because I wasn't really thinking about it. But this guy was just in an insane spot. Like, I think he had RE3 for free. He took double dupes, and he just like, it was like beginning of stage 2, or sorry, beginning of stage 3 that he had RE3 already. So, you know, it is what it is. Here I'm rolling a little bit every turn. I'm going to roll till 50. I might roll a little bit deeper. Probably not, though. I'm holding on to these shitter mages as well, but I don't even think I need them at this point. I also have 2 Gallios in still. I think it's probably like, you know what the problem is here? I didn't mention it before. I have 2 Gallios in. It's definitely not 2 Gallios. It's definitely 2 Vexes. This Vex is a demon. So that's my bad, and I'm sorry about that. I just noticed it now. I think I just forgot because I have Mage +1, so I had it in my head like the board that I wanted to play, and now I'm just playing like a whack board. But it's definitely play Vex instead. What am I doing? Oh, well, this is probably going to be one of those YouTube videos where everybody unsubs, like the last couple videos. Whenever I make a mistake, I feel like my reputation's on the line here. But it's okay. It's PBE. We're bound to make mistakes. But that is unfortunate. I could easily play Vex instead. I think I literally forgot while I was playing. The same way now that I'm just thinking so much about rolling and buying the charms and talk about other stuff. Okay, you can see me now in the game. I love it when I notice stuff. This is how you know that I'm like the same fucking shit player that I am in the game. You saw me, I'm talking about this guy that I just noticed him now. Did you not see me? Did you see me like hover over him with my cursor in game? Like, look at my cursor now. My cursor's like, wait, why are there 2 Gallios in still? Right? It's like, why do I still have these 2 Gallios in? It's like, oh my. I think what I was saying is that in the game, I saw Wukong and I said, wait, I can be rolling for Wukong as well. Because Wukong's a generic frontline unit. It's pretty easy to just shove in Wukong here. Right? Especially Wukong with Mage Emblem, you might actually go nuts. Anyways, I found a Nora. Yeah, so it's definitely Nora in now. Get the Yuumi on the Vigor. Yuumi on the front line I feel like is more beneficial a lot of the time because the Yuumi doesn't give that much defensive stats. It does help the backline from just getting randomly sniped. But yeah, I'm so far off of Vigor. I just level for 7 Mage, right? This is the turn that everything gets fixed. I go, what's her name? Vex 3. Get in Nora because I have Nora now. And I just put in 1 extra. I think Soraka is a little bit better. Can give a little bit of healing to the backline units. Also, I need to position my Nami a little bit better. You'll see the Nami cast this turn because I remember to talk about it. Also, I forgot to buy a charm, so I bought it late, which means it's only going to qualify for the next round. We're hoping for a Nami. Never mind. I think better Nami positioning. Nami stuns this guy, and I actually win this fight. So that's kind of rough. But I am in a good spot. I definitely can like win out from this point onwards. Cause you know, if I hit Mordekaiser 3 and Viger 3 eventually, I did just level to 8. Obviously, I didn't roll on 7, but that's because I got such a big spike. If I was a lot more HP, I would greed and continue to slow roll on 7. But as you can see, I lost that round. I'm 13 HP. Things are rough. I bought this charm late. I made a Sterix on this guy because that's just my remaining items. And a Giant Slayer on Viger, which is probably okay. Not the best, but not the worst. I should be positioning Nami every single fight. Nami always shoots in like a diagonal, or it feels like she's always shooting in a diagonal. She's trying to aim for like the furthest unit a lot of the time, I think. But you should always position opposite to the opponent's carry to get like maximum value, right? So like this guy, you know, we'll see the Nami cast. It'll be proper this time. It'll actually hit like the backline unit. Every third cast she summons the Giant Leviathan. You'll see it. It's very hard to miss. Yeah, Viger's just pumping out damage. It's a Viger 2, by the way. There you go. That's the stun. That's why I usually want to itemize Nami afterwards, right? Here I itemize Vex, I itemize this guy, and then I itemize Viger. Typically, Nami is your third itemized. Like, you itemize your front line, you itemize your back line, then you itemize Nami. Nami is really important because the stun that Nami gives, you really want her to get that cast off as soon as possible, right? If she doesn't, like that fight, it took like until the end of the fight for her to cast. In some of the more explosive damage fights, it might be really poor. It might be really, excuse me, might be really bad. Here I'm switching Yuumi on to Vex. I think Yuumi is better on Vex. Yuumi does a lot of healing, and I feel like it's very wasted on a backline unit unless they have like Giga backline access, right? Unless my Viger is at risk of dying constantly because of the Yuumi, I think it's better just to put Yuumi on a frontline unit. Because, like, for example, if you look at this board, there's, like, 0 backline access, right? So, the Yuumi is going to be kind of wasted because Viger doesn't need that much more AP because I'm buying charms every round and the Viger AP is scaling, right? There we go. Nami cast. Viger just fucking one-shot this RE3. And as you can see, now I'm pretty stable. And this is only a Viger 2, right? Part of the reason why this Viger 2 is stable is because I have been actively buying charms every single round, which is really important. So my Viger does have a lot of AP that he scaled up. My Viger items are also pretty good. And the last thing is that, what's it called? Just in terms of like board strength, right? I'm 7 Mage. So whenever a Mage casts, they cast again. That's like the whole Mage trait. So my Viger just pumps out damage, right? I've seen this board, right, with a Mage +1 like this on level 8. Viger 3, it's almost like an instant win a lot of the time, right? Especially if you've been scaling the Viger the whole game. It's pretty much like an instant win. It's very, very strong. So you don't sleep on it, right? I also got a portal emblem off the carousel. So now I can actually just fit in portal for free, which is fine. This is like an extra benefit in combat. I'm down. I don't want that. It kind of sucked. Like, I want to buy a charm again, but like... this is rough. And then we find a... not good. I don't know if this is good. See, I can't buy a charm because the first charm was like your opponent dives the backline, which is really bad. And then the other one was like this one where it's like a 4 cost turns into a 5 cost. That's really bad because the only 4 cost that I have is Nami. So if Nami turns into a 5 cost, the only 5 cost that I can hit that's good is Nora. If it turns into a random 5 cost, then I just lose my Nami pair. I lost my Nami pair anyways. What am I doing? Just sell one of these shits. Oh my. I could have sold this guy and buy him. Why am I holding on to a Jax? That was so bad. That was so bad. I'm ashamed of myself. That was so bad. That's okay. The fact that I can point out that I did something bad means that I'm growing as a player. And that's the way you should always think about it. And that's why VOD reviews are important. Because now I know that if I ever do that again, I will hate myself. Just sell the Jax. Like, what is this? Why am I so hesitant to sell this Jax? I think my brain broke. I think I was misreading who that was as a unit. And as you can see, the other guy that's alive, the Honeymancy guy, he has 6 Vigers. So it's really hard for both of us to hit. Usually it really sucks being contested on a 3 cost, right? I didn't natural any Vigo. I've been rolling every single round trying to buy charms and stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. Right? But as you can see, we're stable, right? We're stable with Vigor 2, even. Obviously, if the opponent has more damage to deal with, a lot of it is like this Vex, just Giga tanking, right? And also the Mage +1 matters a lot here. Do I lose this fight? Maybe. I lost by 1 unit. I was gonna say, this Callista scaling up, it's really difficult because my comp just doesn't have enough damage without the Vigor 3 to like chew through the Bastion front line there. Then we have another Vigor. There's 2 Vigors in shop. I think now I'm seeing all the Vigors because the other guy died. I don't know if this was the Honeymancy guy. But it's okay. I don't think I need these. I definitely need to buy this Vigor so that I'm 2 off or 1 off. But yeah. Vex, as you can see, Vex doesn't have the best items, right? Obviously, she has double utility. She has Spark and she has what's it called? Sunfire Cape. So she doesn't have that great of tank items, but she still does an insane amount of tanking, right? She's just absolutely destructive. It's probably adaptive on for Nami here, right? We just want to have Nami cast as much as possible. Stun is really good, right? It might save me a couple HP, make me win the fight. I sold the Nami pair before. This is gonna be a Mordekaiser for Mordekaiser 3. I don't know if I even need this. I don't think. Oh no, it's not. It's Galio. I guess I'm thinking I get Galio 3. I definitely think it's adaptive helm on the Nami. Also, I'm on Giga wrong side here, right? I think Nami on this side is a lot better. But I think I still beat this guy. But as good as this guy's spot is, I don't see how he can beat the Vex. He doesn't have enough damage to chew through, right? I killed his shred, or he doesn't, or sorry, his Rise has shred, but it's fine. Yeah, it's just a wipe. By the Nami, I'm 2 Vigors off. Maybe I can hit. We'll see. Nami upgrade? I'm kind of down. I should just sell these guys. I should sell the one on the board. Upgrade to Nami 2. Look, you can see me thinking about it. Oh, no, I didn't do it. Okay, I should have sold this one and then put the helm on, the adaptive helm on the Nami. Yeah, and I'm just holding. I'm like, maybe I win this fight, but I probably won't. I think if I wasn't so contested, ideally you're still rolling on level 7. You hit Mordekaiser 3 and you hit Vigor 3, and then it's just a win out from there. But that's okay. Let's see if it's a Nami diff. If this fight's close, it's probably a Nami diff. Because that Galio isn't tanking shit anyways. Is it a Nami diff? Nami probably would have casted by now once. Oh, it might have been a Nami diff. Yeah. Nami cast a little bit earlier. Yeah, that I might have won that fight with Nami with adaptive helm. That's actually really funny. Yeah, that's my bad. Oops. LOL. My bad. So I point out a lot of mistakes while I was playing, obviously. Please note how strong it is, right? Vex doesn't even have the greatest tank items. I had a Vigor 2 the whole game, right? I know this is PBE. Some of the units have been adjusted and changed. This isn't, I don't think this line is as strong as it was in this video. But it is still strong, right? The amount that they adjusted it obviously compensated if you hit Vigor 3 and Vex 3. I think that's more of a necessity. But as you can see, I played Mages. Obviously, I had 7 Mages. That's like a really high cap, right? But Vex 3, insanely tanky. Always like the last one alive in a lot of cases. Vigor 3 pumps out damage. Make sure you scale the Vigor as early as possible. You have high cap potential because you're playing around a 5 cost to cap out your board later game. And then your itemization is always Vigor, Vex, and Nami, right? It's always these 3. Right? My game was a little bit weird because, you know, I was Giga contested by like this guy that was holding a bunch of Vigors, right? I think other people were holding units. This guy's holding Mordekaisers, I'm pretty sure, so it's hard to hit Mordekaiser 3 as well. I'm not sure if he was holding any extra than what was on his board because I wasn't paying attention that much. But yeah, very fun game. Very interesting line. The Vigor Vex reroll, make sure to look out for it and try it out in PB if you want to try it out. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Have fun. See ya.